Okay, hello everyone. So today I will be taking the ThioJoe computer quiz and see how good I am with computers. Let's see.
You think you're some. First of all, do you know what operating system you're using? If it's
Well, um, yeah.
if it's Windows, add 1 point. If it's Mac, subtract 1. Just kidding, subtract 2. And if it's Linux, add 5.
So 5.
If you don't know, subtract 999 points because you just automatically failed. I don't know how you even function on your computer.
Yeah, I honestly agree.
Next, do you know what version operating system you're using? If so, plus 1 point.
Okay, I use Fedora 43. I think that's the correct answer. Yes, and we're on kernel version. Let's see. 6.17.7.
Do you know the name of this piece of hardware?
It's the central processing unit. It does everything basically.
If you do, give yourself another point. Are you someone who asks others for computer help? If
Honestly, not really. I just Google things.
so, minus 1 point. Are you the one who gives the computer help?
Yes, I am. I am the computer guy in my family, so yes, that's plus 1 point.
Plus 1 point. Are you a hunt and peck typer?
Okay, we'll see about that. So let me 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. I'm not really satisfied with the end there, but 98 words per minute. I don't think you can get that by hunt and pecking your keys. So, yeah.
Do you know how big your hard drive is in gigabytes?
I mean, technically speaking, I don't have a hard drive in my computer. It's a solid state drive. And there's 2 of them. So it's, I think, totals up to 6 terabytes of internal storage. One of them is like a Samsung one that's 4 terabytes, and the other one is Western Digital Blue, so which is like 2 terabytes. So yeah.
Know your current screen resolution. If you
2560 by 1440 on this segment of the screen. I have a super ultra wide. It's like 32 by 9, so it's kind of acting as 2 screens even though it's 1. So the total resolution of it would be 5120 by 1440 is the total resolution. So it's like a super ultra wide QHD type of screen.
do you know how many cores your CPU has?
So it's a Ryzen 7 5700X with 8 cores, 16 threads.
If not, minus 1 point. If you do, you get 1/2 point for every core.
Now I'm gonna say 8 cores in this case, which would be 4 points. I'm not counting threads, so will only get 4 points from this one.
Do you still use your computer's default browser?
I use Ablaze Floor, by the way. Let me just show you. There we go. This is the browser I use, and this is definitely not a default browser on any operating system.
If you do, minus 1 point. Have you ever once opened up your computer case?
Yes, I have. Several times, in fact.
Have you ever once used Linux?
I mean, have I? Have I used Linux? I mean, have I? That is the biggest mystery.
do you back up your hard drive?
Okay, that's a complicated question. I do cloud backup to Backblaze, not Spawn by the way, but I use Backblaze for my normal backup needs. I do not use a secondary drive or a RAID, so it's not a perfect 3-to-1 solution, but it's like a compromise. At least I have 2 copies of my data, which is like the most important part of it.
If you know whether your computer is Intel or AMD,
I wonder. I wonder if my computer is Intel or AMD, huh? Yeah, that's as AMD as it gets, by the way.
that's 1 point. And if you've never changed your browser homepage, that's minus 1 point.
Okay, my browser homepage is actually start.me, which is like a custom new tab interface. It's also as my homepage. So yes, I have changed my default homepage.
Have you ever changed your Wi-Fi password from the default?
Yes, I have.
Do you know?
Okay, USB stands for Universal Serial Bus.
If you know the difference between a megabit and a megabyte,
okay, so that's a really simple difference. So a megabit is 8 times smaller than a megabyte. It just is. Like a megabyte is a million bytes, and megabit is a million bits. 1 byte is 8 bits, so that's why it's 8 times smaller or bigger depending on what you're comparing.
Next, give yourself 1 point for every hour that you spend on the computer for an average day, not counting when you're working.
I guess I can answer infinity on this question, so because I live inside the computer, but I'm just gonna be normal and say 6 points.
Have you ever used the command prompt? If you have, that's 2 points.
Command prompt, huh? It's yes, I have actually. Back when I was like using Windows as my main OS, I use command prompt actually quite extensively. I used to make like batch scripts and stuff like that. It's like batch was actually like my first real like attempt at sort of programming, even though like batch is not really. It's not like a real programming language. You only have like 2 data types and stuff.
Do you know the difference between Java and JavaScript?
Okay, those who don't or not really don't have any experience in computer programming. So, and yeah, I do know how to code in Java and JavaScript, both of them. So yeah. Basically, Java you usually run locally, and JavaScript you run on, I guess, browser if also locally. It's client side on the browser. So, also JavaScript is cursed as f.
Have you ever personally installed new hardware in your computer?
Yes, I have. The most recent hardware I've installed in my computer is a Wi-Fi card, like a Wi-Fi plus Bluetooth card, so like a TP-Link thing. So I could have Bluetooth and also Wi-Fi. So yeah.
If you have more than one monitor, you get +1 for every extra monitor that you have.
Fuck. I have one 32x9 monitor. Are you joking? Oh no. I don't get extra points for this. That is annoying. I used to have multiple, but then I switched to the super ultra wide and that caused me to lose my computer expertise. How does that make any sense?
Do you know the difference between HTTP and HTTPS?
Okay, so HTTPS is encrypted. It's a secure connection. That's the difference. And HTTP is like you're just sending raw data around, no encryption. Just.
Have you ever built a computer?
Yes, I have like thrice, I guess, 3 times. So the first time I built a computer, I was like at a university. I was like studying how to build a computer. So that's where my first experience came from. It did actually post, which is kind of amazing considering how many mistakes I made. But yeah. And the second time was when I was like upgrading my main computer. I at first I did like a board swap and I installed a new CPU, RAM. What else did I install? Okay, and the graphics card, yes. And then after that, it's like ship of Theseus in like computer building. I then got a new case, and some fans and stuff, and yeah, I also got a cooler and finally I got a new case. So I eventually transitioned, like I did it piece by piece, like I sort of transitioned one by one, sort of, to the new build. And then the third build was actually rebuilding a computer from the old parts. So it would be a functional computer again. So that's my computer building experience.
Do you know what RAM timings are and how they work?
I don't really understand how they work though. So that's an L on my part, honestly, for not watching enough ThioJoe videos, because that's sad.
You're gonna name some famous computer people, and for every one that you know, you're gonna add 1 point.
Okay, that's fun. Let's see.
So they are Steve Wozniak.
Okay, so this guy, along with Steve Jobs and the third person whose name I forgot, they are basically like founders of Apple. They built the first Apple computer. So yeah, that's what I know about Steve Wozniak. He was one of those guys.
Dennis Ritchie.
I don't recall who that is, so I don't get a point. I know this guy did something. I don't remember at the moment, so.
Richard Stallman.
Okay, this guy is the founder of the Free Software Foundation, and he's made like some controversial statements and stuff.
Grace Hopper.
Okay, don't really know the person who that is, but I do know this person. I think got the first computer bug, like a literal moth flew into a mainframe, a literal bug, and that's why we call problems in computer software bugs, because it caused like a program to crash back then. So I guess I give myself like half points for knowing this anecdote specifically, but not full points because I don't know who this.
Kevin Mitnick.
Okay, this guy is was like the most famous hacker of all time. So and he got like he did some criminal stuff as well, criminal hacking, and eventually when he got like released from prison, he started doing like ethical hacking stuff.
Linus Torvalds.
Okay, the creator of Linux himself. Yeah, the father of Linux. Who also like reviews all the changes. He also created Git. I almost forgot, like this version control system. Yeah, this guy made that, so that's kind of cool.
John Carmack.
This guy was a lead programmer at id Software who made like Doom and like Wolfenstein 3D and all these other games, which like pushed the hardware at the time, like with its 2.5D binary space partitioning stuff, made like semi 3D environments and stuff like that, like pretty cool stuff at the time.
And Christopher Zeckhauser.
Who the fuck is that? I don't know who that is.
If you knew that last one, subtract 10 points because I made him up. And
Fun.
that's just a picture of Roy, a character from the IT Crowd TV show.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
And if you knew that, add 2 points. Moving on. Do you know what the insert key on your keyboard does?
Okay, so this one's interesting. So the insert key does the exact opposite of like inserting stuff. Not really exact opposite, but it like toggles. Like if you're in a text editor, if you press the insert key, it toggles between insert mode and replace mode. So let me actually show you that. Right. So normally if you're in like insert mode, insert text, right? But if I press insert key, I can start overriding the text like this. If I press it again, it goes into insert mode. So that's the basics of what this key does.
Do you know what the scroll lock key on your keyboard?
Okay, almost nobody uses this key, but what it's supposed to do is, but basically the idea is, you're using the arrow keys, right, to like navigate around like fields or like cells in like Excel, for example. If you use arrow keys when the scroll lock is turned off, it moves the selected, like it moves the cell selections, like the selection cell by cell around. But if you press the scroll lock key and turn on the scroll lock mode, like turn on scroll lock, then you can scroll the entire worksheet using the arrow key. So that's what it's supposed to do, but like 99.9% of computer software just completely ignores this key.
Are you someone who doesn't need an antivirus? Now you lose.
Okay. Look, I'm on Linux. I don't need a fucking antivirus. Come on. Come on.
Lose 5 points because you're wrong. Do
What
you
do you mean?
encrypt your hard drive?
I'm on a desktop, right? I'm at home. What is the point of it encrypting it? Like the only way for you to access the data in this case is to like physically get to the device, right? And yank out the like SSD. But if some burglar is getting into my house, I think I've got bigger problems in my hands than securing my computer. So, yeah. Does it make sense to do on a laptop? Like I used to do it. Actually, I still do on my MacBook. That I'm not currently using right now, right? I don't lose 2 points on the OS question, right? Like technically I use all 3 operating systems, but I was using Linux here, so yeah. But technically speaking, on my MacBook I do encrypt it, so I guess the answer could be yes. But on my desktop I just don't bother because why? Why would you do this? But on a laptop it makes more sense because you're like carrying it around and people may try to steal it, and if you don't have my password you can't access my data basically.
And if you have a home server that you run, you give yourself 5 points.
Okay, let me show you that I actually run server right now. So, and there we go. We have this thing where I can just log in, and I can manage my computer remotely and stuff. I can like install updates and stuff. It's kind of sweet the stuff I can do here. So I can manage that. So yes, I do run a home server technically speaking. I also have like a file share going on here. So, and I have an SSH server. There's a lot of stuff I'm running here.
Next, give yourself 2 points for every network switch you have in your house.
1, 2, and I think that's it.
And if you don't know what a network switch is, you lose 1 point. I'll give you a second to count them up in your head.
Yeah, it's 2.
Should be enough time. If you have ever edited the Windows registry,
Yes, I have. I used to do it quite a lot actually. It's I used to like read about these registry hacks on like these tech websites, and like personalize Windows in a way that like nobody, like you normally can't do. I also like replace the Windows shell with my custom app. So yeah, stuff like that you can do in the Windows registry. So yeah.
for those of you who know how to write a basic Hello World program in any programming language, you get 5 points.
Okay, so the answer here is yes. I know how to do it in like Python, JavaScript, Java, PHP as well, C#, C++. I think these are the main ones. Did I say Java or did I not? Java is like the most cursed one. You have to type like system.println and in parentheses hello world. No, system.out.println and in parentheses you put hello world as a string. That's that's what you have to do on Java, which is kind of funny.
Next, if you have ever spent more than 1/3 of your monthly income on a single
Okay. Have I? I mean, I've saved up money for a computer part. Does this count? Saving up money? I mean, I guess the answer is yes, if that does count.
Do you know what Google Ultron is? If so,
Is that a meme?
give yourself 3 points. Nice job.
I'm not entirely sure what that is, but I think it's a meme.
Now, you can give yourself 1 point for every extra web browser you have installed.
Every extra web browser. Okay, let's have a look at my list of apps. I have Tor browser, I have Chromium, I have Lorp, I have Firefox, I have Vivaldi. So is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? 5 browsers? Why do I have 5 browsers installed? I don't even know, but that's actually an advantage in this quiz. It's kind of funny.
Besides the default. Alright, for these next
Besides the default. Oh, so it's +4, not +5. Because Firefox is the default in this case, I think.
questions, we're really going to figure out who the real experts are. So you better be prepared. Now, if you have ever created your own...
No, I have not. I haven't even dared to do it. I'm not that guy. I'm not the kind of person who solders stuff or like assembles wires. I don't really do that.
If you have ever installed...
Yes, I have actually. It's like on an older router that I don't care about. But yes, I have installed custom firmware.
If you have ever resized a drive partition...
Okay, let's see about that. This is my data partition here, like data drive, so it has like no partitions except for the ESP. This is my system partition. So here on my Linux system partition, I have the home partition here. This is the root partition, and what is this? Why is this here? Okay, this is the swap, and this is the ESP. So I don't know why this is here. Why have I, like, what's the point of this? I actually don't remember, but I have actually partitioned my disks like you're seeing here, so the answer is yes.
Next,
Sweet.
any one of you who has used a secure shell to access a remote computer, you get 10 points.
Okay, yes I have. I do it quite often actually. I'm actually gonna see if I can access my website's server here. Yeah, there we go. So there we go, that's my website right here. I can like literally let me just do like touch on like now. Hi. Go hello world. There we go. And then I can just really quickly open it. hide up PHP. And there we go. I made a change to my website using SSH. So
if you use a custom DNS server, either just on your computer or on your router, you get 10.
okay, I think I use 1111 on this computer. Like the Cloudflare's DNS.
Finally, for every social media site that you guys follow me on, subtract 1 point because you really shouldn't listen to me.
Okay, that's kind of funny because I literally don't follow any of these social media. Like, I don't follow his Twitter, I don't follow his Instagram, I don't even follow his Facebook, I just follow the YouTube. So technically I don't lose any points, which is kind of funny.
Alright, now those are all the questions, and you want to add up your score. Hopefully you did pretty good, and we can go ahead and...
So that's interesting. So I got 121.5 points. Let's see how well I do.
If you have between 20 to 50 points, you're still a complete computer noob, but you most likely have used computers enough to pick up some knowledge here and there.
Okay, that's my balance basically.
But those of you in the 110 to 140 range are definitely computer experts, but maybe not professionally. Chances are you picked up a lot of knowledge just from spending countless hours sitting in front of a monitor. At this point, people probably think you're some sort of computer genius.
That's interesting. That's an interesting way of describing my computer expertise.
If you have scored more than 140 points,
how do you even score more than 140 in this quiz, by the way? Do you have like 20 monitors or some shit?
Incarnate. At this level, you're either extremely interested in computers, have a professional computer-related job, or you're a complete loser with no social skills. If you're...
Okay, there's some hope for me. At least, okay, there's some hope. At least I'm below this point, so I'm not completely socially awkward, even though I kind of am. Like, yeah, there's some hope for me. That's good to hear.
If you ever had to, you could probably walk in off the street and get a pretty decent IT job anywhere, and with enough training and experience, a sysadmin job. Now, obviously, this was a very well-developed scientific test. Of course, it's extremely accurate.
Yes, 121.5, guys. That was my score in the ThioJoe computer quiz. If you wanna take it yourself, you should watch Theo's video. So, yeah.